Yes. Pura. Yes, ma'am. We'll give an entire report.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, principal sir is there joining. 1 minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
A very good evening, everyone. Education is a liberating force cutting across the barriers of caste, class, gender, smoothing out the inequalities imposed by birth and other circumstances. Today, on this fine evening, we all have gathered on virtual platform to commemorate International Education Day and National Girl Child Day, which is observed on 20th January. I, Saleha Khan, on behalf of Hindi Vidya Prachar Samitis in Ram Ranjan Jhunjhunwala College, Department of Biotechnology, would like to extend a warm welcome to Guest of Honor Dr. Tara Menon, Principal Sir Dr. Himanshu Davda, Director Dr. Usha Mukundan, participants of Video Bytes competition, undergraduate students who have joined us today, and MSc students who have helped us in organizing this event. And last but not the least, my colleagues. Before starting the event, I would like to request Head of Biotechnology Department, Dr. Sucheta Golwalkar, to kindly say a few words. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Saleha, ma'am. On the onset, I would like to welcome the participants, the teachers, the guest of honor, principal sir, and the director of HVPS, Usha ma'am. I'll be giving a brief about the department. The biotechnology department was a brainchild of our former principal, Dr. Usha Mukundan, now the director. It was in the year 2002 that the department took its birth. And the first batch of our undergraduate students who passed in the year 2005, that is, they passed their TY. In that same year, we were granted MSc by papers. Later on in the year 2008, we were recognized for MSc by research as well as for PhD. And since then, the department is flourishing. In the year 2019, we were funded by DBT under the STAR college scheme. Under the DBT scheme for the undergraduates, this is one of the event that we are organizing today as Video Bytes for the Nobel laureates. So welcome one and all to this exciting events of Video Bytes. And thank you, Tara ma'am, for accepting our invitation and being here with us today. Over to you, Saleha.
Thank you, ma'am. Today with us, we have our guest of honor, Dr. Tara Menon, and I would like to take this opportunity to introduce her. Dr. Tara Menon is the head of Biotechnology Department of SIS College, Mumbai, and she is very well known as the member of pioneer team that helped in introduction of biotechnology program in Mumbai University in 2002. And she still continues the work of strengthening of the program. She doesn't need introduction, but I would like to introduce her briefly. Dr. Tara Menon postgraduated in biochemistry, has doctorate in microbiology, and completed postdoctoral research in molecular translocations in hematological malignancies. She is recognized as PhD Guide in Biotechnology by Mumbai University. She is the member of Board of Studies of Biotechnology and Molecular Biology in Mumbai University, as well as autonomous colleges, St. Xavier College and KPB College. She has several publications credited to her name. She has completed 2 minor research projects of Mumbai University. She has participated in various national and international conferences and seminars. And besides academic work, she is also the member of IQAC and admission committee. Thank you, ma'am, for accepting our invitation and being with us today. I would like to request ma'am to say a few encouraging words to our students. Ma'am. Ma'am, Tara ma'am, we would like to hear from you.
Yeah, I was just unmuting myself. And on the onset, let me thank you, Saleha, for that wonderful introduction. I felt really good hearing about myself. Can you imagine that? Yeah, and I thank you very much, Dr. Sucheta Golwalkar, for having me here this evening. I'm very happy to be here and happy to see all of you, and especially Dr. Usha Mukundan ma'am. whom I have always looked up to. So thank you very much once again for having me here. So yesterday, 2 days ago, when Dr. Golwalkar told me that I'm supposed to address a group of students and I'm supposed to inspire them, and like I had really got a little bit of cold feet. But then, yeah, I shall try my best to be a source of inspiration. So now what happened was 2 days ago when this was, Sucheta told me that I have to do this. So I started getting very stressed. Now I started looking at the internet and I started looking here. Then now what am I going to say to students? Then suddenly it struck me, yeah, this is the same thing what happens when one finishes their graduation and then moves on for post-graduation. They'll reach a crossroads and then you really suddenly you start wondering, what next in my life? So that is one I would say a juncture when everybody wonders, now what am I going to do? So yeah, maybe the what do you call, the logical progress would be from BSc to MSc. Now after MSc, now what? So again, at every juncture, you're always met with a question, now what? So then came like, now, is it the same for men? Is it the same for women? So now, since I'm talking on behalf of the the Day for National Girl Child, so I thought, what is it so difficult for a boy child and a girl child? Yes, at the risk of sounding a little gender biased, I say we don't have it that easy because we have been brought up with that kind of, we have been nurtured like that we have to take care of our family. Whatever said and done, at least for the next 25 years, we would be like this only, like kind of we think of our family, we think of our children. So for a girl child to kind of come out into the open, it is like kind of, they have to think a couple of times, but which not so in the case of men. So I always feel that as a girl child, we have to think or we have to plan very much in advance. Now, what will happen? Like, we know our family background, you know, what would be the next course of action. So many homes after graduation, the girl is asked to, you stop studies, now you have to get married and you have to set up a life of your own, etc. So then at that point of time, obviously everybody, I mean, a girl child who's very good at studies would, feel a little depressed and disappointed, etc. So at this juncture, I would like to tell all girl children that there's no need, like, don't feel depressed, dejected, because you have to choose something like your parents. Every time we crumble at the pressure from home. So we have to kind of sometimes we are forced to follow that. So in that case, what we have to do while we are studying for our graduation, post-graduation, etc., we have to kind of have a plan B in mind. If I'm not able to be a successful biotechnologist, what else can I do? So it need not be that we don't become successful biotechnologists. Yes, we may become, but there might be a time lag between a boy in our class might raise ahead of us, because like the responsibility of the family raising a couple of kids will not be, but nowadays things are changing, but nevertheless it's not so much like a boy is kind of bogged down by those responsibilities. And ultimately it's always the mother who always has that nurturing genes in her, so it is always her who takes a backseat. But I would urge you all girls that you have to keep in mind to always empower yourself, or you build some skill while you're studying in your UG PG classes. So what we have to do is, nowadays things are like all around you, you have a number of courses coming up, especially these NPTEL and you have your Coursera, etc. You can always pick up some course which is there in offered to you. And I think in RJC you also have courses like BWalk, etc., which happens on Saturday and Sunday. So you can always pick those courses up and then kind of develop that kind of skill in you. So that would become very helpful to you on a rainy day. Like, and suppose, and later on in your life, you get married, and with marriage happens relocation to a different city, or you have children and you have to raise them. So there's always something called as a small kind of a break comes in between your post-graduation, you may be working and then you get married, you may get relocated, you will raise your children, etc. So there is bound to happen, not in everybody's life, but in majority of girls, you always have that small bit of gap coming in between. So if you are equipped with this kind of skill-based, skill enhanced courses, or you are equipped with this in those days when while you are taking care of your family, while you're kind of building up your career, this can become useful to you. Or you can even during those days also, you can pick up some skill and kind of engage yourself in it, so that, and then look around for opportunities which you would like to pick up. So you shouldn't never feel kind of, oh, my life is over now, 4 years, I'm without a job now, who will have me? No, during those days, if you can kind of equip yourself or kind of use the skills which you have learned in your graduation, undergrad and postgrad days, this would become of great help to you. And remember always that nothing comes to your doorstep. You have to kind of work hard for it. So while you are at home or while you were studying, the girls definitely have to define their boundaries and go a little ahead of it, and kind of equip themselves, and kind of always never leave that focus in your mind that you're going to achieve something. The moment you kind of leave that focus, you're gone. So you should always have that plan in your mind. You're going to achieve it, and maybe it will take some time for you to achieve it. But meanwhile, you can always hone your skills, which later on, when you kind of take up the job, your dream job, that those skills may also come useful. Believe me, those skills may also come useful to you. Yes. So nothing comes free. It always comes with a lot of effort from your side. You have to put in that extra bit to get yourself to where you dream to be. So, and it's always, as they say, it's 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. So I just wanted to share a couple of slides with you, which I thought while I was just thinking what to talk to you, and when I thought I should be of some kind of inspiration to you, I was just going through a newspaper yesterday, and being the National Girl Child Day, they had put up a number of fellowships for children. So maybe all of you are already aware of it, but for those who have not heard about it, can I just share my slide, Urmila?
Yes, ma'am. I
Yeah,
have
once.
already made you co-host. You can share the slides.
Okay, fine. Sure. I'm not able to get my game. One second, just
Yeah.
I'm not getting my desktop on this. Is it not coming? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, can my screen?
Yes. Yeah, we can see them. Sorry.
Okay, fine. So this is some, it's basic, very, very basic. And we all know that strong girls, yeah, we have many quotes which say educating a girl child means you're educating the nation, your family is getting empowered, all that we have heard. But these are a couple of scholarships for girl students. Many of you all must have heard about it. You have the CBSE Udan, where the 11th and 12th standard students, depending upon how good you are, you get 6,000 per annum. Then you have the Indira Scholarship, which gives the girl child 36,200 per annum to pursue post-graduation. Then you have the Vivekananda Scholarship, 25,000 per month for a single girl child to pursue PhD in social sciences. And Pragati scholarship for all these AICT approved educational institutions. So these were things which had come in yesterday's newspaper. So just in case you haven't seen it, here is it for you. So you also have, then there are more scholarships wherein the DBT, DST, etc. like kind of have put in like given us one extra step forward. Like many of us, as I told you earlier, we face relocation and we have these career breaks in our we have these breaks in our career. So if we want to kind of progress with our whatever we have studied, you have all this women scientist scheme for by DST, which is called the WOS, which is there, and they kind of starting from 30,000 to 40,000, 55,000 per month. You get that. That is first you have to decide that you want to, you're going ahead with your career. Once you decide that, then sky is the limit. So you can avail of many of these scholarships which are there, and you can, if you have a project in hand and you want to go ahead with it, these people, all these national bodies are there to help you out. Then you have the women scientist scheme by DBT. Many of the some of my classmates, like kind of who had massive career breaks, have also kind of availed of this DBT scheme, and they are doing good jobs, I mean, good work in IIT and NCBS campuses, etc. Then you have the Women in STEM program where all maths and those, if you're interested, you're not from the science background, I mean, per se science background, you have the technology background, engineering, etc. Those people can also avail of this fellowship and go forward with their career. Then the UGC has also instituted something like the postdoctoral fellowship for women for candidates who are unemployed and holding a PhD degree in their respective areas. So suppose some them, as I told you, if you want to pick up the threads of your career which you left long behind, all these people, I mean, all these government bodies are there to help you out. Only thing you have to decide, and you have to kind of keep your focus pretty much there. So if it is there, if you are always dreaming, as the famous Paulo Coelho says, the whole universe is there to help you out to do it. So you have what is known as the L'Oreal India for Young Women in Science Scholarship Program. All these are there to help you out. Only thing, you should not lose your focus. So now when we look back down, you all are going to speak about women Nobel laureates. When you look at it, there is a kind of, if you see, there is a steep rise in the number of women Nobel laureates, like in between 1901 to 20, there were only 4. And now when you look at it, at 2001 to 2020, you have around 28 women Nobel laureates. So I think the world is moving in the favor of women, and the whole world is like looking forward to getting the best out of women. So there are a lot of programs which we can pick up, and we can kind of empower ourselves and come into the foray. But if you look at the Indian Women Laureate, you have only one. And she's just close to being an Indian Women Laureate. She belongs to Northern Macedonia, so she's not exactly an Indian, but that lacuna is always there. So we still have to get our own Indian woman Nobel laureate. So maybe one of y'all could fill that gap there. I wish you all the best, and I hope that I see one woman Nobel laureate coming in the next, at least in the next 5 years. I get one Indian woman Nobel laureate. With these words, I would like to end my talk. Thank you very much once again for having me here, and wishing all the students a very best in your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such encouraging words, and how well you have spoken about how we should move forward and look for opportunities even when the conditions are not perfect. So thank you so much, ma'am. So now we move ahead with our event. I would like to request our principal, Dr. Himanshu Davra, to say a few words to our students.
Sir?
Yeah, 1 minute. Sir,
हाँ,
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Welcome.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. So we would like to hear from you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible.
So very good afternoon, everybody. Respected guest, teachers from Biotech Department and dear students. I have been listening to the wonderful welcome as well as the motivation that our guest has been giving you. It was quite an impressive talk, and it made a stage set for the activity that has been planned by the Department of Biotechnology. DBT Star College has given us a lot of opportunities to plan programs out of the box, which doesn't otherwise remain in our routine teaching, learning. And with due thanks to Department of Biotechnology, with due thanks to Usha Madam, who has been a guiding force for all of us in having this DBT Star College activity being taken up and successfully leading us through all the years. And today, when 4 departments of botany, zoology, chemistry, and physics are already having a DBT Star College status, in the line further are the departments of IT, CS, mathematics, statistics, and biotechnology. And I'm sure with the efforts the department is putting, they too will be receiving the DBT Star status very soon. The financial assistance that we get is used for students to have hands-on training, and that's how, in a small little way, we can help in making science and basic science popular among the undergraduate students. So, department, once again, congratulations to you for planning this wonderful activity. Thank you, our guest, madam, for being here and motivating us, and we are eager to hear what is in store further. So thank you once again, and wishing you all a very nice day.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to request Director Usha Mukundan, Dr. Usha Mukundan, to say a few words, as she is always so inspirational to students. So, ma'am, can we have?
Thank you very much. As all of you know, I have no patience. I'm more eager to see the video. So good luck to all of you. Yeah, I'm waiting. Which video?
Oh,
All the best.
thank you, ma'am. So, moving ahead in the event,
अच्छा dongle है
with education, knowledge, and hard work, a person can do wonders that has the capacity to change the world. Work that benefits the humankind should be acknowledged. As famously said by Martin Luther King Jr., all hard work that uplifts the humanity has dignity and importance and should be undertaken with painstaking excellence. To honor such path breaking efforts in the field of science, literature, economics, and peace fields, Nobel Prize have been awarded since 1901. As the spontaneity of a chemical reaction depends on number of factors like entropy, enthalpy, free energy, etc. Similarly, the progression of a society depends on various factors, one of them being education of females. Despite facing so many hurdles over the centuries, females have been contributing immensely in various fields and have been awarded with Nobel Prize for Excellence. Now, I would like to request our MSc student Akash Agrahari to brief us about the trivia of Nobel Prize and female Nobel laureates. Akash Raj, over to you.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Please enable screen sharing.
Okay, one. Yes, Akash Raj, you can share your presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Akash Raj from Team Trivia is going to talk about the women who changed the world. I would like to start with a Sanskrit quote. Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devtaha yatra tastu na pujyante sarvasta phala kriyah. This means God resides where women are respected, and where they are disrespected, all the actions come to zero, that is fruitless. Alfred Nobel. This was the person behind the starting of the Nobel Prize distribution. The first Nobel Prize was awarded in Stockholm, Sweden, in the field of physics, chemistry, medicine, literature, and peace. The ceremony was started from the 5th death anniversary of Alfred Nobel, the Swedish inventor of dynamite and other explosives. One of the newspapers of that time in 1888 mentioned that merchant of death has died, which means actually the brother of Alfred Nobel died, whose name was Ludwig Nobel. But by mistakenly they published the death note on the name of Alfred Nobel. Reading this, Alfred Nobel was very much touched, and the question that hit his mind was: is this the legacy that I will leave behind after my death? So, in order to overcome that, he started the tradition of distribution of prizes in the various fields of physics, chemistry, medicine, literature, and peace. The first female Nobel Prize. Marie Curie was a Polish physicist and chemist who conducted pioneering research on radioactivity. As the first of the Curie family legacy of the 5 Nobel Prizes, she was the first and the only woman to win 2 Nobel Prizes, that too in 2 different fields, that is physics and chemistry. Also, she was the first woman to become professor in University of Paris in 1906. She died due to aplastic anemia. Her remarkable works include radioactivity of polonium and radium. However, she was not directly nominated for a Nobel Prize by the Nobel Prize Distribution Committee. It was only due to Marie Curie, who wrote a letter to the committee which stated that if it is true that one is seriously thinking about me for the prize, I very much wish to be considered with Madame Curie for our research on radioactive bodies. Only then Marie Curie was considered for the Nobel Prize, and she won it in 1903. Despite the awareness about gender equality in the 21st century, the Nobel Prizes still show the disparity. Even though there are many who deserve the Nobel in their field, very few have bagged the Nobels. In physics, 1.9%, medicine 5.4%, economics 2.3%, women have bagged Nobel Prizes. Rosalind Franklin, she was an expert in X-ray diffraction, and the picture here is known as the picture 51, in which she found that the double helix structure of DNA. At the end of January 1953, there were 3 papers published in the Nature article on the structure of DNA, material of our genes together they constituted one of the most important scientific discoveries in history. The first purely theoretical article was written by Watson and Crick from the University of Cambridge. Immediately following these articles were 2 data-rich papers by researchers from King's College, that is Maurice Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin. The model of Cambridge duo put forward did not simply describe the DNA molecule as a double helix. It was extremely precise based on the complex measurements of the angles formed by the different chemical bonds. underpinning by some extremely powerful mathematics and based on the interpretations that Crick had recently developed as a part of his PhD thesis. However, Rosalind Franklin did not win the Nobel Prize as she uh, expired soon after the discovery, and we all know that the prizes are not given to the deceased person. Jocelyn Bell, the first ever person to discover neutron stars at a very young age. She discovered the neutron star at the young age of 24. Neutron stars are nothing but the celestial bodies of not more than 30-kilometer radius, but having density that high that the density is very dense, and the teaspoon material of the neutron stars can weigh up to kilotons and tons of kilograms. The astrophysicist should also absolutely have won the Nobel Prize, but it was given to her mentor. Some of the other women who should have won the Nobel Prize for their revolutionary works, Agnes Pockels, she invented an apparatus using which she was able to measure the pressure of exerted by the soap films as they spread on water. Erika Kremer, she was working on solid state gas absorption chromatography, and she invented it in 1944. Rachel Carson published Silent Spring, a book with revolutionary ideas on the marine biology. Lise Meitner, discovery of nuclear fission, radioactivity of protactinium. Catherine Blodgett, mononuclear coatings. Emmy Noether, Noether's theorem, fundamental in mathematical physics. Annie Cannon, contemporary stellar classification. In 2020, that is last year, 4 women bagged Nobel Prizes. They include Louise Clark, Emmanuel Charpenter, Jennifer A. Doudna, and Andrea Ghez. Were added to that roster triumphing in the literature, chemistry, and physics. Amongst these, 4, Emmanuel and Jennifer shared Nobel Prize for their research in genome editing. The discovery was known as CRISPR-Cas9 genetic scissors, which is a way of making specific and precise changes to the DNA contained in the living cells. This was for the first time 2 women are sharing the Nobel Prize in the history. To finish with, here is a quote from Malala Yousafzai, the Pakistani activist who won the Nobel Prize in 2014, and she is also the youngest woman Nobel Prize laureate. She states, "Let's remember, one book, one pen, one child, and one teacher can change the world." Thank you from Team Trivia.
Thank you, Akash Raj and the trivia team for the presentation. As mentioned by Akash Raj in his presentation, between 1901 and 2020, we have got 57 female Nobel laureates. Laureate term, according to Greek mythology, refers to a crown made up of leaves and branches of laurel bay, which was originally worn by god Apollo. And according to ancient Latin history, it was given to victors as the sign of honor. So to honor and show admiration to the contribution of these Nobel laureates, our MSc students have prepared a short tribute video, and we would like to share this with you all. Can we have the video?
Is the music coming?
No, ma'am, it is not audible.
Tanya ma'am, should I share?
Yes, you can.
Thank you, tribute team of MSc, for the video. Okay, so this video doesn't justify the amount of hard work that had been put in by these laureates, but it is an effort at nano level to inspire young minds which are who are with us today. Speaking about the inspiration, we had organized a competition titled Video Bites for undergraduate students, in which the participants were supposed to talk about the life and contributions of any one of the female Nobel laureates of their choice. And participants have to share their presentation with voiceover in video format. We have received 25 entries from different streams. These videos were analyzed on the basis of three criteria. The first one being content of the presentation, the amount of effort put in to research about the Nobel laureate. Second, organization, how well the explored data was presented on slides. Third, but not the least, narration, how well the data was presented verbally. It was a very difficult task to select top three entries as all the entries were very good. But after multiple close reviews, we have come up with top three names. For Video Bytes competition, the third prize goes to Miss Aditi Medathingal, who is the student of first year biotechnology. Aditi talked about the contributions of Irene Curie passionately and coherently. So, Aditi, congratulations for the third prize. Can we have the video which was shared by Aditi so that all can see what kind of effort she had put into research about Marie Curie? Sorry, Irene Curie.
Irene Joliot Curie. Irene Joliot Curie was a Nobel Prize winner in chemistry in 1935. Other than being an incredible scientist, she was also an activist, battlefield radiologist, and a politician. They say the apple doesn't fall.
Is it audible properly?
Not very clear, Rachna. Can we have a little, can we have the sound to maximum?
Yes.
Can we have from the beginning? If
Yeah,
possible?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, one second.
I was taught that the
Rachna, if Aditi is there, we can make her co-host, and if she has that video, she can share directly.
And it was playing fine. You can just click on the center. It will play. Yes.
Irene Joliot Curie. Irene
It's
Joliot
perfect, ma'am.
Curie was a Nobel Prize winner in chemistry in 1935. Other than being an incredible scientist, she was also an activist, battlefield radiologist, and a politician. They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. This is true in Miss Irene's case. She was born to two renowned scientists, Marie and Pierre Curie. So it didn't take long for her to fall in love with the world of science. She started by operating the X-ray machines which were made by her mother. She studied chemistry at the Radium Institute, which was founded by her father. She received her PhD in 1925. She continued to do her research at the same institute where she met her co-worker and future husband, Jean Frederick Joliot. Just like her parents worked together, Irene started working with her husband Frederick Joliot. In the early 1930s, they came twice as close to discovering two significant discoveries in the history of science, the positron and neutron, but unfortunately, they didn't realize it. In 1935, after bombarding the aluminium foil with alpha particles, they noticed that even after the bombardment had stopped, the aluminium continued to emit positrons, and this led to one of the finest discoveries, and that was the radioactive atoms. This discovery altered the course of radiation research, and that's why they received the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1935. After the discovery of the radioactive atoms, she then helped in the discovery of nuclear fission. She went on to become the director of Radium Institute. After creating such dynamic changes in the field of science, she turned her attention to her children and to politics. She spoke in favor of women's education. She attended several international conferences for peace and women's rights. She became an undersecretary when women were not even allowed to vote in France. Radiation altered her life in a good and bad way. She suffered from leukemia due to extensive exposure to radiation. This was the cause of death of her mother Marie Curie and husband Frederick Joliot. She passed away in 1956. She was 58 years old, still researching, still running the institute, and still attending the international conferences. A great scientist and citizen to the end. I don't know about you all, but she's definitely my role model. I'd like to end with one of her famous quotes. The farther the experiment is from theory, the closer it is to the Nobel Prize. Thank you, one and all.
Congratulations, Aditi.
Congratulations, Aditi.
Okay, so we move
Superb
to
narration.
second prize. Yes. Okay, the second prize goes to second year biotechnology student, Miss Neelam Bhattrai. Neelam Bhattrai articulately presented the information and life and contributions which was shared or done by Madam Marie Curie. So the second prize goes to Neelam Bhattrai, and we have her video as well with us. So we can play the video.
I was taught that the way of progress was neither swift nor easy. Talk about female Nobel laureates, and a voice at the back of your cerebrum flashes Marie Curie. Born as Mary Sklodowska in Poland in the year 1867, Mary earned quite a few first ever achievements through her constant persistence and love for science. To name some of them, she was the first ever woman to win a Nobel Prize, one of the only two people ever to receive a Nobel Prize in two different fields, also the first woman to become a professor at the University of Paris. After her primary education in Poland, Mary moved to Paris at the age of 24. In her class, she was the only female pupil and also the first ever female PhD holder at her university. Having these records to her name didn't stop her there. Being a persistent hard worker that she was, she began extensive research work in the newly discovered field of chemistry, that was radioactivity. She married her colleague Pierre Curie, and both of them, along with Henri Becquerel, went on to achieve milestones and unleash the secrets of this new branch of chemistry, one at a time. She shared her first Nobel Prize in Physics in 1903 with Pierre Curie and Henri Becquerel. Science was her first love, and she expressed it by tirelessly working in her lab, sometimes starving and depriving herself of sleep due to the continuous hours she spent in research and publishing. Together, the trio successfully isolated a new element and later named it polonium after the birth country of Marie. The next element they discovered was radium. Yet another setback awaited Mary with the death of her husband in the year 1906 when he was run over by a horse carriage. Devastated by the incident, yet firmly determined to contribute to the world, Mary went on to be the first ever woman professor at University of Sorbonne. She succeeded in gaining insights into the nature of atom and finally isolating radium physically. She also defined an international standard for radioactive emissions that was eventually named after her and Pierre, the Curie. For her work on radium, Mary won unprecedented second Nobel Prize in 1911 in chemistry. Mary set up the Radium Institute, now known as the Curie Institute, in 1914 with the help of Pasteur Institute and the University of Paris. During the First World War, Curie realized the need for radiological centers near the front lines to assist the battlefield surgeons and hence developed mobile radiography units. In 1915, Mary produced hollow needles containing radium emanation to be used for sterilizing infected tissue parts. After the war, she continued with her scientific work and establishment of the Radium Institute, meanwhile training her daughter Irene Curie in the same field. She was honored by several countries and served on various international scientific committees. As all sweet things in life come with a price to pay, Mary, due to her long term exposure to radiations during her work, her health was deteriorated, and in 1934 the world lost her to aplastic anemia, a rare condition in which the body stops producing enough new blood cells. In 1935, her daughter Irene Curie too won a Nobel Prize in chemistry. This made Mary achieve yet another record to her name, and that was of the first mother and daughter duet of the Nobel Prize winners. Her coffin was lined by 1 inch of lead in all sides to absorb the radiations that her dead body would eventually emit. In an age where women were considered a misfit for the intellectual society, Mary, with her dreams as solid as the Rock Mountains, taught a million young minds to dream and will continue to do so till eternity. Thank you.
Congratulations, Neela.
Very well presented.
Congratulations, Neela. Now the winner of the Video Bytes competition is Mr. Uday Kumar, student of FYBA, Mass Media and Mass Communication. Uday talked about the contributions of Françoise Barré-Sinoussi, and the presentation was very well made, which was also helped by seamless narration. So Uday, congratulations. We do have the video which was made by Uday, so everybody can see the video.
Hello everyone watching this video. My name is Uday Kumar and I am from FIBA MMC, RJ College. Today I will be talking about Francois Barré-Sinoussi, who has won the Nobel
Is the volume low or is it?
No, it is a little low. Ma'am, can we increase the volume?
Discovering HIV virus. Let's get into it more details about who is she and how did she discover HIV virus. Sinauzi was born in Paris on 30th July 1947. While other kids were playing busy, Sinauzi had brainstorming questions with
Is the volume too less?
Very low, ma'am. The
Yeah,
volume
we
is
can't
too low.
hear. Yeah, we are not able to hear the
Just try
narration.
Hello everyone watching this video.
Yeah, it's perfect now.
And I am from FIBAMMC, RJ College. Today I will be talking about Francois Barré-Sinoussi, who has won the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine in 2008 for discovering HIV virus. Let's get into it more details about who is she and how did she discover HIV virus. Sinoussi was born in Paris on 30th July 1947. While other kids were playing busy, Sinoussi had brainstorming questions which made her develop interest in science since childhood. She wanted to become a doctor, but due to her poor financial conditions, she had to go with the cheapest and shortest study. While getting her degree, she worked as a part-time in Pasteur Institute and then completed her PhD in 1975. She interned at the US National Institute of Health and later started her research on retroviruses in Pasteur Institute. Then in the early 1980s, AIDS epidemic arose. Mortality rate was increasing and the cause was still unknown. There was a need to find out the cause so that some treatment could be made. Some French physicians approached Sinoussi and asked her whether AIDS too is likely because of a retrovirus just like HTLV1, which was the only retrovirus at that time. This mid-Sinoussi led to research if retrovirus was the cause of AIDS, and thus she started her own laboratory in Pasteur Institute along with her mentor Luc Montagnier. Scientists had already optimized in vitro culture conditions for long-term propagation of human T cells and relatively high retrovirus replication. They had developed sensitive techniques to detect reverse transcriptase, an enzyme essential and specific for retroviruses, and were able to identify retroviral particles by electron microscopy. In 1983, Luc Montagnier's team at the Pasteur Institute in Paris discovered HIV-1. Using the established techniques, they cultured T cells from a lymph node biopsy from a 33-year-old homosexual French patient with symptoms that can precede AIDS, such as lymphadenopathy. Reverse transcriptase activity in the supernatant of this culture and the morphology of virions showed that they had isolated a retrovirus and later named it as HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. Francois Sinoussi and Luc were awarded with the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for discovering HIV-1 in the year 2008. Complications from AIDS was the leading cause of death for adults from 25 to 44 years old. About 50,000 Americans died of AIDS-related causes. African Americans made up 49% of AIDS-related deaths. Because Francis Hinauzi and Luke discovered the cause for AIDS. Several other scientists were able to develop compounds that could help patients suffering from AIDS. And this resulted in decrease in mortality rate by 62% since 2000s. Without this knowledge of retroviruses and essential techniques for their characterization, the discovery of HIV-1 would arguably have been much delayed and thousands of people may have died more. But thanks to Our Lady Sinauzi. Here I am sharing some of my references. Thank you all.
Superb, superb.
Congratulations, Uday. Well done.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Hello everyone.
So congratulations to all the winners and thank you all participants for participating in the event. The certificates will be mailed to participants first week of February. So please do check your mails. Probably by the first week of February, we should be able to mail all the certificates. With this, we have come to the end of the event. And if ma'am wants to say something about the participants, Tara ma'am.
I can understand how difficult it might have been for you to come to this last three. All the three presentations were, I would say they were really, really very well done. And I wish congratulations and best wishes to all the three of y'all. May you go a long way. Many more laurels come your way. Wishing you all the best.
Winners and other participants and attendees, please wait. We would like to take pic with you all so that we can have a record. These are the ones, those who have participated in the event. Before that, now I would like to request Smita Jadhav to present vote of thanks.
It gives me immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for the event to all the assembled here. I would like to thank our guest of honor, Dr. Tara Menon, for enlightening us with her thoughtful talk. I would also like to thank our Principal Sir, Dr. Himanshu Dauda, and Director Madam, Dr. Usha Mukundan. I would like to thank all the participants of the competition for actively participating and submitting the entries. Our MSc Part 2 students for assisting in organizing the event, our biotech department staff members, and last but not the least, all students attending the event today. Once again, I thanks one and all present here for making this event a grand success. Thank you very much.
Can we have all the participants switched on their videos so we can take the pic?
Participants as well as the guest, yeah. Usha ma'am,
all the participants.
Himanshu sir.
Yeah. Himanshu sir. Yeah, I can't see their faces. Let me see. Dipti को ही बोलना पड़ेगा.
नहीं आएंगे, रुको मैम.
Students, you can
please switch on your videos, all of you. Students.
You want to give one this thing, encouragement?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you giving as a prize, Urmila madam?
Ma'am, as of now, we are giving e-certificate.
No, we'll give. College will give. They have done an excellent job.
Yes.
Then if they give their NEFT numbers, you give them a Google form.
Sure.
You will give them cash prize.
Sure.
College will give, and a very good effort by the teachers. Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Good
Thank you
idea,
so much,
mainly. Very good idea.
Students, where are you all? Yeah.
College will give them prizes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Akash.
You let them introduce themselves also. एक उनको spotlight करना.
Yeah, we can pin them also.
Please switch on your videos, all of you. Jasmine, Anshika, Shaheen, come on. Is Uday there?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
I will add them as well.
Yeah. Sunny, Aditi, come on. Let me see your Priya, Ganesh.
Aditi.
How many total videos you got? I missed on that.
25, ma'am.
Very nice, very nice. From different
Yes, yes. Yeah.
faculties, right?
Yeah. Chemistry, botany, then BA.
ये
FIBM.
मैंने जाना ये तो उदय तो.
And yes,
हाँ.
That's amazing.
Students, come on, please switch on your videos.
I would like to ask Uday, you got help of some science student to come up with all these technical words?
Actually, ma'am, I was from science background
Science,
and
12th तक science होगा उसका.
yes, ma'am. And also, I was doing my bachelor's in biotech, but for some reasons, I had to discontinue. So later, I came into mass media, but obviously, the interest didn't left me, and so whatever, like the terminologies were difficult for me too, but I researched it on, and then later came up with this.
Yeah, we were
Thanks
totally
for the
amazed by
opportunity.
the way you have presented it, and all of us.
Yeah, excellent, excellent.
There was no question about choosing the first
12वीं
one.
तक ये साइंस में था.
हम उसने बायोटेक भी किया है बोल रहे हैं.
हाँ, ऐसा लग रहा है.
Yeah,
Correct.
1 year in biotech.
Atul, where do you stay? Uday?
Ma'am, I stay in Kurla.
Kurla. Okay. So are you coming to college these days?
Not now, ma'am.
Why? Many people from Kurla are coming.
Our lectures
Jara
are
aake
held
milna.
online, ma'am. Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Amazing. So you have identified where your potential lies, right? So it's a good combination. Very nice.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, like I didn't want to lose science as well as being from mass media. So the technical
Yeah, you could
stuff.
blend both the things
Yes,
together.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes.
correct. Your
He didn't want
knowledge
to
and the
leave science.
application. Correct.
He didn't want to leave science. He didn't want to. Good. Very nice.
Yeah, and even Aditi and Neelam, both of you did very well. Very nice.
Thank you, ma'am.
Where is Aditi? Yeah, Aditi.
there were some videos which we were confused. Which video should be given second or third prize. So it was a hard choice, and it was very well competed competition actually. Thank you, everyone. So we have taken the pick, so we can.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, all of you all, and congratulations to the winners and the participants. Keep it up.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Shall we end the
meeting?
Yeah. Thank you, Tara ma'am. Thank you, Usha ma'am. Thank you, Himanshu sir.
Bye.
Pleasure having all of you all today for this event.
Himanshu sir is also reciprocating. Thank you, both.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you, Tara ma'am. Goodbye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tara
you,
madam,
thank you,
for
sir.
your valuable time. And it was wonderful that we all, though lockdown, but we could meet each other and interact. And hearty congratulations to all the students for the wonderful presentations that they made. And once again, kudos to the department for organizing this activity. Thank you, everybody, for inviting me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye,
Be
everybody.
safe. Bye.